5. Like, I think this is the best top I stole from Frank. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here today, welcome back to another video of Vlogtober. And yes, you guys have probably seen this top on me before. That's because it belongs to Frank. This was the best thievery I've ever committed in the history of thievery, okay? My little wine that's left, Kesana, because I'm filming like crazy and I don't feel like going to my room and going to my kitchen. Going to my kitchen and refilling my glass. So for today's video, I actually am not looking forward to this video at all, but it was one of the video suggestions that was highly requested to do another assumptions tag. Wow! Why do you guys keep requesting an assumptions tag? Because like, you guys know me, like you know me. Ugh. I'm tired. Like, you can't keep requesting the same thing over and over again, but I guess because it's Vlogtober and you know a girl's gonna run out of content anyway, I'm gonna do another one and you guys have to deal with it. If you guys are wondering where I got my hair from TT Hair Couture, baby. God, it's just the hair, it's flowing, it's flying, okay? But anyway, I obviously decided to do an assumptions tag, and it's gonna be super quick, super fun, super to the point. It's very fun to see how much assumptions people have made up about you, and even though some people know who I am as a result of watching me for many years, there's some people who watched me yesterday and think that I'm a bitch, and it's like maybe the wrong experience. I'm joking. Some people have different experiences of other people, and assumptions change all the time. And some people follow you yesterday and they watch you for like a couple of snaps and they think they know you. So I decided to do an updated assumptions tag, not because I actively willingly wanted to, but because it was just one of those things where I've been asked to do it and I was like, fuck it, let me do it. Okay, great stuff. Let's get started. The first anonymous said, you have a whole lot of energy. I really do, hey? And fun fact, I'm really not happy about this rumor that was like spread about me when I was in Spreadview, that people thought that I was on drugs. I have never been so angry. I've never been so... There's no other word to describe other than being angry. It's almost like, you know, when you're not the typical quiet, shy, yebo baba, you want a burger, yes I do. You know, when you're not the typical kind of girl that just agrees to everything a man says and makes a man feel strong by being submissive, all of a sudden something has to be wrong with you, you know? Like, one of the things that was trending on Twitter just the other day, like 2 days ago, was that people were obviously being haters as per usual. No, I'm not saying that to be weird. Like, they were just hating. They were hating on like content creators and like with the things that they don't like about them, which is fine. And then there was this one person who made this tweet about me saying, oh, she's unnecessarily loud. And those who know my struggle with being loud and being out there and being very, you know, myself, is that people have tried to humble me on so many occasions. People have tried to quieten me down on so many instances. And I can only imagine the kind of person I would have been if I had succumbed to people's opinions of me, you know? Because the person said she is unnecessarily loud, right? I think being on this channel and realizing how much people like my loud persona has allowed me to really come out of my shell and be as loud as I normally am when I'm alone. So a lot of the time you're walking around thinking that, oh no, I can't be this way, because if I'm this way, people think this way of me. Like, when I was loud and when I'm full of energy, people think I'm on drugs. People think I'm doing this. Guys, I have never fucking seen a drug in my life. The only drug I've seen is weed. So yeah, guys, I think for a long time that thing affected me in a way where I felt like, okay, I can't be myself, because if I'm myself, people are gonna have something bad to say about me. But then even when I was not myself, people had something bad to say about me, like, oh, her content is boring, her content is repetitive, you know. And it was very hard to be in a space where I knew that I wasn't being my true self, but I was trying to do that for the sake of giving content that wasn't real. And then when I decided to be myself, people decide to come at me for things I can't change. Like, okay, Heads up, newsflash, I can't change the fact that I'm so loud. And let me let you know that 157,000 people can't think that they enjoy my loud character. And just because you don't, I really don't care. I'm not being unnecessarily loud. And even if I was, get with the winning team, ho! Next anonymous said, when you say for story's sake, let me call him, it's sometimes the actual person's name. No. Nobody whose name I've said is the actual person's name except one guy. And it's just the second name. That's it. And it was just some joke that we made because he told me his second name. But other than that, everybody who I've mentioned has always been an alias. It has always been a pseudonym. Like, I try by all means not to let you guys know who the real person is, because one thing I've picked up about YouTube is that when you develop, I don't want to call it a fan base because I don't think that's what it is, or a cult because that sounds even worse. But when you develop a group of people who genuinely like you and root for you, they will come for that person willy-nilly. So I told myself, I was like, you know what, guys? It's just a story. I don't want the victims or like the villains in question to end up being bullied as a result of me giving out their real names. So I try not to, but there's only one person whose name I've used, but it's actually not their name. It's actually like their second name, but it's still a pseudonym. You guys won't know who it is. No, you won't. Anonymous said, the assumption is that you're full of yourself, but you're actually very soft and enjoy loving. I think a lot of people get that about me. I've heard a lot of influencers. You know what's funny, guys? Let me tell you guys, to all the other YouTubers who are very nice to me in person, you guys actually talk, and what you don't like know is that it somehow gets to me. Hey, I've heard a lot of people say that I'm full of myself, or that I'm very, what's the word, condescending. And I think a lot of the time, when I look back on it now, and no, not when I look back on it now, no, not that I'm saying that I was wrong, no. When I look back on it now, I feel like my personality was never liked by a lot of other YouTubers and a lot of my other colleagues. And you know, there are even colleagues I smile with, but like I know that they say some bullshit about me. And I know even like when they do their collabs, they talk about me after the collabs, and I'm just like, huh? Hey, I think my personality has been it's one of two ways. It's either very abrasive, like you either don't like me because I'm very loud, I'm very energetic, or you take a liking to me. It's never in between. And I think a lot of the time when I meet other YouTubers, when I meet other people, like other people will just tell, Naledi's just being Naledi. But other YouTubers, I don't know why. I'm not gonna say YouTubers because I feel like I'm kind of very like limiting it. But yes, a lot of other YouTubers inclusive. I don't know why they felt like my energy is threatening, because I've always seen them as some of the greatest content creators, you know. I've never wanted to dim my light, and I feel like I did that for too long. Like, there've been YouTubers who have actually hurt me. Like, there've been YouTubers who have been involved with Drake, and I'm not gonna take it there, but like if I could, I would, you know. But I've always respected them and their craft, but I've realized that they never respected mine. There are some YouTubers who have dumped my content down to drinking games. There are some YouTubers who have felt the need to talk about my personality, and it has been very hurtful, but it's definitely woken me up to realizing that these people actually never fucked with you, bro. Like, you are just out here creating content. You're just out here trying to be yourself, trying to give the audience something different, something new. And people always knock it down before they actually start fucking with it, you know? Like with the seafood boil, I think Umi Dreams was the only other South African YouTuber that started a seafood boil. I think she made one from scratch. If not, she ate one. And I saw her video, and I definitely wanted to do one as well. I think she had just done her video a month prior to mine, and I had been looking for a seafood bowl for some time. And then I did that, and I remember when I did that, I got so much backlash by people saying how my eating is disgusting and it's this. And I saw a lot of other YouTubers kikiing in the comments. And those very same YouTubers are now doing seafood boils and mukbangs. They're doing lots of mukbangs actually. So it's kind of like a bittersweet moment where it's like, you know, they're gonna knock you down, but then sooner or later they're gonna try bite your style. the way that you do things. And especially the YouTubers that don't want to associate with me or my persona or anything of that nature, they then turn around and kind of mimic everything that I do, which is fucking annoying, but it also kind of emphasizes the whole influencer thing. And I think for me, it annoys me even more when I know that you don't even like me, but I guess in some small way or the other, my content does affect you in some way, whether you like it or you don't like it, or whether you get inspiration from it. That's what being an influencer is about. But it doesn't take away the fact that once upon a time, you used to laugh at me when people made fun of me. And yet you do the exact same thing as me. Yeah, I'm very loving and I take it very personally, but I've also learned not to kind of separate my emotions from my job. That's what I need to do. Someone said, Anonymous said, you'll do anything for indoda. The assumption about me is that you'll do anything for indoda when you're in love. That assumption is very true. When I love, I'm in love. And like I still realize that even from the Drake days, I still fall deeply. But this time, I'm a lot more aware of what I do and don't deserve. And yes, it's taken me some time, but also there are certain toxic traits that I had when I dated Drake that I have finally slowly come to learn about myself, about my personality, about my character traits that I never really wanted to accept. Looking back on mine and relationships, looking back on mine and Drake's relationship, I don't think I was the problem, but I do feel like I contributed to the toxic relationship that we had. And when I look at myself now, I'm in such a different place. Like, I hate toxic behavior. Like, if someone doesn't talk to me, I will reach out and say, hey, what's wrong? You know, if I'm in a relationship, I'm committed through and through, you know. I don't like the idea of cheating anymore, but I also don't like the idea of being in a relationship that doesn't fulfill me anymore. I keep saying this all the time, like, what I experienced at 21 is probably what I should have experienced at 27, because I probably would have been a better fit for Drake at this age. But it's a good thing I experienced Drake at a young age, because then I could realize the toxic traits that I want to stay away from. But it's kind of like the realization that sometimes you meet one specific guy once in a lifetime, and that's just it. So there are certain elements of me that have changed that haven't changed. No, it's the elements that haven't changed is the loving indoda when I'm in love. That hasn't changed one bit. But what has changed is my ability to decipher when a love is benefiting me and when it's not. But that only happened this year, so I guess you're right. You're still right, but yeah, I love indoda, that's true. The next Anonymous said, the assumption about me is that it's all daddy's money. Yeah, you're right. No. The thing about this one is that this is something I've experienced as a child growing up, right? My dad has always been a present father. I can't take that shit away from him, guys. I really can't. My dad was there from when I was born up until this very moment. But people have got me fucked up if they think that in the last 2 years, I haven't made a check for my dad, guys. Guys, me, I bought my dad 25,000 rand shoes, okay? I think a lot of people think that it's all my dad's money, and I would be lying if I said my dad didn't take me to school. I would be lying if I said my dad didn't, buy me a car. No, he didn't buy me a house. Correction. I'd be lying if I said my dad didn't buy me a car. That would be lies. But what would be a lie is to say that everything that I've acquired now is my dad's money. Oh no, sweetie. Have you guys actually tasted influencer money? Y'all gotta get with it. Have you guys actually had Vlogmas money? My dad has been a very proactive father, and I can't take away everything he's done for me. He's taken me to school up to master's level, okay? That man has loved me. I lost my mother at like 14, turning 15, okay? And I had no one outside of that man. Like, as in, that man could have been absent from the moment I turned 18. That man took me to school, he took me to undergrad, he took me to postgrad, got cum laude, then he took me to master's level. And even in doing that, I never had to suffer the reality of black tax. I never had to suffer that shit. So everything I do now is for my father. I live for that man. If that man wakes up and tells me that he wants, you know, Bottega shoes, because he's a really big fan of Bottega. Like, I bought him these Tom Ford shoes and he wore them once. But if he wakes up and tells me that he wants Bottega, I will make you guys laugh every single day on this channel until I can get that man Bottega. You heard what I'm saying? Good, exactly. But a lot of the things that I've done is not my dad's money in the past few years. No, my dad actually, I was emancipated from him like 3 years ago. Like YouTube took off for me like a few years ago, and when it did, I've been so grateful because I was able to do everything for myself. Like, I do everything myself now. Like, I don't even need my dad like for petrol or anything of that nature. There are times where I'd appreciate if he did it, but he doesn't. So yeah. The next anonymous said, you cry when you're angry. Yo, I cry. I cry. And let me tell you where that comes from. Everybody always expects me to rock when I'm angry. You know, like, I grew up in an environment where people would always pick on me. And I remember this one comment where people would hit me so much. I'd go to my mom crying all the time. And my mom was like, when I was so much happy bank, you know, to when people would bully me. Like, I once, I don't know if I told the story of my former best friend who gave me this mark. She gave me this mark. I don't know where my naivety came from. Look, I don't hate her for it, but I realized my mom, I think she was so angry at that point. She gave me this mark and she said, this mark is gonna give me a flower on my wrist, because someone did that to her. Then she did it with like a hot thingy that removed my skin, and then I started bleeding. And she did it to me because someone else had done it to her. So she bullied me into doing this mark onto me. And I still have this mark. I still remember this moment. Like, this mark never goes away. And this happened when I was 11 or like 12. To a point where my mom was so angry because people used to find a way to make me feel inferior or like bully me because you know, you live this certain lifestyle that you can't explain, but like you want to be part of them. But it's almost like they initiate you into making you feel like, dude, you're enough to hang out with us, right? Look, I forgave her, but I have this mark that reminds me of the time she said to me, flower. Look, I don't think her intentions were bad, but yes, I know at the time she was doing it so that we could all have this mark, so she wouldn't be the only one who had this burn mark that I have now forever, you know? But guys, that's the kind of negative energy I was exposed to consistently. Not her. But this was common for me. You know, I think now that I look back on it, this was so common that people would actually hit me for no reason. People would hide my shoe when it's time to go home, and then my mom would hit me. Do you understand? Like, people would bully me like the whole time. So you grow up in that environment, you believe that's the right thing to do, you realize, actually, no, dog, that's not the way to live. Because then I would always, you know, get into racks, you know, go St. Catherine's and Mrs. Johnson would have to take me home and whatnot. Well, obviously would have to send me home. And then you actually realize that, dude, that's not the way to live. That's really not the way to live. And then the one person who protects you dies. Then you must leave. Hello. No one's protecting you. You can't tell your father you're being bullied. You know what I mean? And then you have to put it all in, because I have a father who's like, fighting is ghetto. It's ghetto. What are you doing? It's ghetto. And you're like, okay, yeah, that's a good point. You can't keep fighting. You want to go to jail, dog. Like, I went to a private school and I literally was 2 seconds away from getting suspended. And my dad was like, one more rock and I swear to God. And then you have to kind of internalize what you go through at school. Whew. Damn, I wasn't prepared for that. I mean, I'm over it, but like, I just wish people understood. You respond, you're bad. You don't respond, you're bad. Like, you're stuck. You're so stuck. and all you can do is cry. I mean, back all you can do is laugh, but no, Miss Mamas. Yeah, but it was a difficult time in my life. As a teenager, it was a difficult time in my life. I had a difficult time. That's why I hate bullying so much. That's why I hate it. I hate the inferiority complex so much. I can't stand it. Like, I don't know why people do that to other people. It's just it's so wrong. And the only person who really defended me left me over a decade ago. That's wrong. The next assumption is that money make out guys, sis. Okay, if I tell you that I haven't actually responded to him, will you be mad at me? I don't know, guys. Like, I have this very like weird anxiety about speaking to rich niggas. The next anonymous said, you are too easy to cut people off and not let it affect you. That's actually a very wrong assumption of me. It's very wrong. When I actually cut people off, it affects me so much. Only now I'm learning to disassociate myself from not wanting to cut people off, like as a water sign. And I know this, people are gonna say, oh, she's about to do that star sign thing. I'm a Scorpio with water signs, so cutting people off is so difficult. And as someone who's experienced a lot of abandonment issues, my need to not want to give up on people is exaggerated. So it does affect me, but I don't let it show. That's why if I cut off my friends, I'm not gonna speak about it because it does hurt me. Like, men are men. But like, cutting off a friend is so hurtful, guys. Cutting off a friendship is like even worse than a breakup, dude. Like, I hate it so much. But it does affect me, but I do choose to cut people off. I do. The next anonymous said, you never set yourself on fire to keep others warm. You never change who you are to please anyone. That's actually not true. I did that for a long time. I did set myself on fire to please people, you know. I did change who I was to make people happy. And I tried to dumb myself down. I tried to be quieter. I tried to be seen and not heard. I tried to dumb myself down so that others could feel better about being themselves, you know. You grow up in an environment where you have more than the average child, and people always make you feel bad about that. So you always dumb yourself down and say, you know, bruh, who the fuck cares what I'm like? You know, you dumb yourself down to make others not feel like you're better than them in any sort of way, shape, or form, because a lot of people I was exposed to would always remind me of who I was and where I came from. So I did for a long time, but I'm slowly learning not to, you know. But yeah, the next anonymous said, you guys are actually gonna make me cry. You're very loving, giving, but you never get it back, just like me. It really sucks. It does. Oh my god, it sucks so bad. It's almost like it's like a knife to the chest when you realize like you invested so much in someone who actually doesn't do anything for you in return. It's such a English. I got a little bittersweet, but like it's such a bewildering feeling. Like you're bewildered, like you're just in shock. But yeah, I'm exactly like you. That assumption is very true about me. Anonymous said, I feel like you're the type of person to overshare your personal life to someone you meet. True. So yeah, I'm done with that. Like, I would share things about them, how I always was described as this very violent person, and then we'd get into conflict, and that would be the narrative that is used against me, which was very weird. It was a shock to the system, but it was also like a, hey man, that's what you kind of get for oversharing, you know what I mean? And I overshare because I want to create that relationship, but it doesn't mean people are oversharing with you. Yeah. The next anonymous said, I feel like sometimes you say some hurtful words, or you say something jokeful or some joking hurtful words without realizing that it will hurt the other person. That's true. That's true. I think I've had to learn to really like realize what I say is wrong, you know. Like at times you're joking, you're not thinking, it's just in the moment. The thing about me is that my mind moves at 100, and like I'll say something and then 2 seconds later I'll realize, oh shit, if that was said to me, you know. But the thing is, I don't take anything to me, it's water off a duck's back. You're like, Naledi, what too much? It's like, to someone else, what are you trying to say, dog? And then I dated Drake, who was the opposite of me. I used to say some things to Drake that would really affect him, and he would sit me down and say, you don't say that. And I'd be like, but you know I was joking. And he was like, even if I did, it's just not the right thing to say. So, okay, let me tell you this one thing I did to Drake's friend, where he had to actually sit me down and tell me, Naledi, you can't do that. So Drake and I were going to this place in Rosebank called ENQUIRIES, and we were meeting his friends. It was the first time I met them. And now Drake had told me prior to going there that he has this really good relationship with them, but he doesn't like that at times they kind of make him like the bearer of the bill. Let me say that. Oh guys, our friend is back. Like sometimes Drake is so sweet, well, in the moment. He's so sweet in the moment that when it's time to pay the bill, he's not going to give anybody like flack about it. Like he's just gonna pay it, and then he'll complain to me. So when we were like talking about going there, he was like, Ish, I love my friends, but they do this thing that I don't like because they know that I have the finances, or they'll make me feel like cool. So we go there, and then it's time to pay the bill. The same thing happens, right? So me being tipsy, because I hate how it makes Drake feel, I made this comment. I was like, yeah, ibilan wena, to one of the friends. I'm like, yeah, ibilan wena vele, you invited us here because you wanted Drake to pay the bill. And Drake kind of like, boom. And then the friend was like, what do you mean? And I'm like, exactly what I said. Like, why did Drake pay the bill for you and your girlfriend, you know? So I started like getting very like agitated about it, because I was like, Drake, why are you paying the bill? You should pay for me and you. Yes, for your friends, but are you paying for everybody else, the honeys, the boys, the girls? So this guy actually thought I was joking, and I was like, I'm actually not joking, I'm asking you facts. And then Drake was like, okay, now let it go. And then after that, this guy was like, Drake, your girlfriend is doing this. I'm like, I'm doing exactly that. So I think that time the friend thought that Drake was gonna break it off with me, because I think he made this comment and said, she's not the vibe. And then Drake and I stayed together for 4 years, because I think this guy realized sooner or later that like I actually care about Drake. I don't care about Drake's finances. Like I actually cared about him. Like yes, he did nice things for me, but I hated seeing him in that position to be vulnerable to other people, and people not wanting to repay him in the same kindness, of which it was still the same kind of message throughout our whole relationship. It was the same issue, that people took him for granted so many times, and then when it was time to repay him with the same kindness, it didn't really happen. But that's obviously my experience of him. Other people's experience of him might be different, so it's fine. Anonymous said, you still haven't wrapped your head around who you've become. I haven't, guys. Who is that? Like, to me, I'm Naledi. Like, I never wanted this to blow up into a Naledi the celebrity. What the fuck is that shit? What the fuck is that? I'm Naledi. Even though I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she was like, you have to change your bio. I'm like, my bio? Like your bio on your social media. I'm like, why am I changing that? She's like, you're a TV personality, then you're a YouTuber. I'm like, no, I'm a YouTuber, and then I'm a TV personality. And it was a big hoo-ha, because she was like, no, dog, like you have transcended. And I was like, fuck the transcendence. I'm Naledi, dog. Before I'm anything else, I'm not better than anyone, I'm not above anyone. And then she was like, you want to be the best version of yourself, but when people try to help you, you don't want to take it in, you don't want to accept it, you don't want to move. Like, you want to be the best that you can be to help your family, your friends, your loved ones, but you're not willing to take the steps in your mind, like mentally. And I'm like, no, fuck you then. Because I was just like, dude, come on, dog. I'm not letting go of being this person who's loved being this relatable aspect of myself, to try and transcend into something that is not relatable or approachable, or like, oh, I'm so big that people can't. No, dog. It's the ghetto. It's the ghetto. It's the trenches. And we had this big fight about it, because she was like, dude, I can't help you move to the next level if you don't want to move to the next level. You are loving the fact that you are this relatable person, you are normal, you don't act better than you are, but where you're trying to go with your brand and your business doesn't align with where you are and who you really want to be. Yeah, that's it hurts, but it so she's right though, and I'm still struggling with that. I really haven't wrapped my head over that camp. Exactly. Anonymously said, you are very bubbly. You never have a bad day. I actually have lots of bad days. I actually, my depression this year hit an all-time low. Actually, I suffer from depression more than I ever have. Like anxiety pills get me through a very good day. But look, I mean, I'm bubbly every single day, but some days are worse than others. Like on days when I'm good, I'm really good. And then on days when I'm bad, I'm really bad. And the bad part is so bad that I can just cry for hours, you know? Like, I can be having a really good day, like I was at Gonga when I was at work, and then I came back and then someone's bullying me for my long face, and then I just broke down in tears. For hours. Like I broke down, but I don't think the whole long face was actually the problem, but I think there was a deeper rooted issue. There was a deeper rooted issue. I just don't want to talk about it right now, but there was a deeper rooted issue that just had affected me, and I had to work through it. Like even with Vlogtober, there are things that affect me, but I have to put my emotions on the side and focus on the promise I made to my subscribers. I don't care if I have to work 3 times a day. I will work 3 times a day and come back and film, because that's the promise I made to my subscribers. So sometimes you just gotta put that shit aside, and my subscribers are going through things. Imagine if you guys are going through things, then I must still come tell you about the suffering that I'm going through. I'm suffering. Anonymous said, you spend lots of money on niggas who don't deserve it. That's facts. Anonymous said, you're single. That's facts. Anonymous said, you come from a wealthy AF family. That's not facts. Bangenga every other day. Bangenga every other day. Kore, why is he getting all those black tags for being the Kim Kardashian? No, I'm kidding. I come from a comfortable family, but wealthy AF is taking it too far, dog. I don't like that concept. The next anonymous said, if you're a perfectionist, if something doesn't come out as expected, all hell breaks loose. I feel like all hell breaks loose is a bit too much of a like hot take, but I mean, all hell doesn't break loose, but all hell breaks. Yes, I'm a perfectionist. My dad always said prevention is better than cure, and my nigga, if I prevent it from happening, then I don't gotta cure it. And if you make it happen and I have to cure it, you are my motherfucking nerves. Does that make me perfectionist? Yeah. I am a control freak. I edit my own videos, I upload my own videos, I film my own videos. I want to see how I look. I don't want to trust anyone in that regard, and I don't trust anyone in that regard. And I'm telling you, 5 years from now, when I'm running my own company, I will be running every single department. Let's go. Anonymous said, you're outgoing and social but secretly introverted. Yes! Yes, I am. Oh my God. Like, you know when they say an extroverted introvert? Like, I go out and I'm social as fuck, but then I need moments where I'm alone, because I get overwhelmed with being in social spaces for too long. And this has happened even way before YouTube took off. Sometimes my ex-boyfriend Drake actually made me realize this. He's like, dude, every time we get to a party, you go to the toilet. And I'm like, yeah, because I gotta pee. And he's like, no, you don't even pee, Naledi. You go in there for like 20 seconds and you come out. What's going on? That's when I realized I have anxiety. That's when I realized, like, I love the idea of being around people, but I don't actually know how to handle the idea of being around people. Like, I don't actually, that's why I don't go to clubs frequently. That's why I don't go to rockets. I don't go to large crowds. I can do restaurants, I can greet people, but places that are dark where I can't see, I don't have control. Places that are a lot of people, and I always leave early at Youre. Youre ends at 10, I'm gone by 8. Like, and you know, some girl made this really funny tweet about me sitting at Nostra, like not talking to anyone. And I was actually going through an anxiety attack. Like, I was actually telling myself, what am I doing here? I'm spending so much money. I don't want to do this. I'm wearing a short skirt. I'm uncomfortable. Like, there were just so many things that were upsetting me that by the time she made that comment about me, it frustrated me because it's like, how the fuck do I explain my anxiety if I'm trying to be James Dean on the low? So must I go to everyone and say, oh my God, I'm having an anxiety attack, congratulations. Bitch, could you motherfucking not? Like, bruv. I'm very introverted because I get like overwhelmed very quickly. And I didn't also realize it until my sister showed it to me as well. Like, dude, you're very, like, what's going on? Like, also the ADHD thing, which I'm still not sure about. I really need to go get that like checked out. But like, when I'm in spaces full of large people, I will go to the toilet like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. A lot of the times I don't need to pee. I just need to look at myself. I just need to come back. I just need to, Naledi, wash up. Naledi, wash up. Because a lot of the time also in our career, you're mean to a person once. All of a sudden you're this mean person or snacksy. So I always have to go to the toilet when I'm going through an anxiety moment and remind myself that, hey dude, it's okay. You're doing this, whatever the case may be. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Nothing bad's happening. Look, I'm very social. But I need those 20 seconds, 30 seconds to go to the toilet and actually be in the zone, right? So, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually introverted as fuck. And I also get very scared when people come to me and they're like, oh my God, I love you. And I'm like, why? I thought we're just all people. We're just ordinary people. What you mean, girl? Yeah, but yeah. The next anonymous said, the assumption about me is that you are kind, like very, very, yeah, I'd like to think I'm kind. I think that's one thing I can't answer for myself. People would have to obviously say that on my behalf, because me saying I'm kind is kind of like saying, I mean, of course I'm giving. I'm like Jesus who gave the 5 loaves and the 10 fish to the disciples. Like, nah, dog, someone's gonna say that about you. You know what I mean? Anonymous said, you get bored easily in relationships. That's actually far from the truth. I invest in relationships. When I'm in love, I don't fall out of love. Anonymous said, not assuming anything, just here to tell you that you've done really well for yourself, and now going forth, I don't want to hear you say, what more can Naledi do? I say that all the time. Oh my God. I do. The next assumption is that you are somehow rude. You see, this one is also another one where it depends on experiences. Like, I respond to how people treat me. You know, like some people can say I was nice to them and like Naledi is really nice, of which I think a large consensus of people feel that way because those people were nice to me. And then there are people who were really, really rude to me. And unfortunately, I don't respond to rude in kindness. I respond in rude. You respond to me in rude, you're gonna get rude because that's the energy you clearly want. But people, a lot of the time I've noticed lately, they try to bait me by being rude to me so that they can run to Twitter and say how fucked up I am. Congratulations, go say it, Miss Mamas, because I don't give a fuck. Amen. Those who know me know. If you don't know me, ke tsa hao le ditaba tsa hao. Ha ka fihla mo o tlo ntella, o ska makala o thola motho tellang. O ska tlo hlanya wena o tlo itjotsa re o mang. O mang wena? Ha o ska tlo hlanya. Anonymous said, you're a Libra. Incorrect, I'm a Scorpio. The other anonymous said you wear size 7. Incorrect, I wear size 4. 37. Anonymous said you are funny, nicer, awesomer, pretty in person. That's true. A lot of men have said that to me. They're like, you're pretty in person. A lot of women have said you're funnier in person. A lot of women have said you're actually this real person in person, that it's very hard to believe that you're not in character. And I'm like, I wish I could say I was, but I'm actually really not. I'm not. The next anonymous said the assumption is that you are your father's daughter. Yes, and only because I never got the chance to know my mother. I wish I could have been my mother's daughter. I know my mother loved me. She loved me. I am my father's daughter. I live for him only because I do not want to suffer from losing another parent. The next anonymous said, sometimes you set yourself up for failure. Yes, yes, yes. I do, a lot. And it's the one thing I hate about myself. But my dad always said this: if you prepare yourself for the worst, then the worst thing that could happen is the worst, but it won't happen if you prepare yourself for it. You can never always prepare yourself for the best, but like I said, prevention is better than cure. you clear all avenues, and the worst thing that can happen is the failure. But if you prepare yourself for failure, then you're destined to win. Period. Point blank. Anonymous said you're a crybaby. Yo guys, I cry. And I think a lot of people, they've made fun of me since the popcorn room. Remember when the popcorn room posted that now I'm gonna cry on my channel again? Someone's like, oh guys, don't drag her, she's gonna cry again. Yes, I'm going to cry again. Well, not now. But like, yes. No, let me not lie, I'll still cry now. Yo, I don't know how many pep talks a lot of my faves have given you on some Naledi, Otia, Masadi Tia. No. Anonymous said, the assumption is that you're toxic. I'm actually not as toxic as people think I am. I'm a very straightforward honey. Like, I'm a very straightforward honey. Those who think I'm toxic is because of their experiences about me from other people. Nobody who knows me can actually say I'm toxic without explaining why I'm toxic. Tell the whole story. Say, okay, Naledi went to so, Maranaka went to so, and then insanity. Otherwise, I'm not a toxic honey. Anonymous said the assumption is that you seem tough, but deep down you're a crybaby. Yo, I'm such a crybaby. Oh God. Oh, Sanalwam. Anonymous said you're not a groupie. Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. The next anonymous said the assumption is that you're stupid rich, like I was such a beast. I'm not answering that without a lawyer present. No, I'm not stupid rich. The next assumption about me is that you undermine people. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna say this is further than the truth. I actually don't undermine people, but I can understand if people have that experience of me because of the comments that I've made, which have come from a very innocent place, but weren't received that way. So there was one girl who actually like confronted me about a certain situation where she felt like I was undermining her, and that's because she was being rude to me and she was coming for my boyfriend at the time. And then when I told her like, dude, I did this to you because you did this to me, she apologized and then she followed me on Instagram, and then I didn't follow her back, and then she still went with the you undermining people, and I was like, dude, you wanted to fuck my nigga, dog. Like, yes, you apologized. Yes, you admit that you were fucked up. But then you still want me to follow you back so we can be besties in a taxi? That's not happening. Yeah, it's not happening. The next anonymous said, you're fortunate than most. I would be lying if I said I'm not, but I also would be lying if I said that that's the one leg that I stand on. I fight for my place. Like, guys, if I had every opportunity to use the resources that I had, I wouldn't be the person that I am now. I always told myself, I think I have my dad's perseverance, but I have my mom's fighting spirit, which is probably the same thing. My dad is such a hard worker, naturally. My dad is you don't get things on a silver platter. My dad has been such a shrewd, guys. But my mom, her fighting spirit, guys, I wish you guys had gotten to know my mother. You would have loved her so much. She was an Aquarius. You would have loved her so much, because that lady was such an optimist when my dad was a pessimist. That lady was the glass half full when my dad was the glass half empty. And I feel like I exude both their energies, especially when I want to give up on myself. My mom will fight for me, and my dad will be the energy that will want to feel sorry for myself. But when my mom says fight, my dad's energy kicks in and it fights. You know, I fight. So nah, I'm fortunate than most, but I think the fortune comes from my fight. You know, I can say I'm fortunate in the sense that I come from a good family, but my family didn't help me matriculate. They didn't help me get a job. They didn't help me get my honors. They didn't help me study. They didn't help me pass. I did that shit myself. They didn't help me get to 157,000 subscribers. They didn't help me do all that stuff. I did it myself, and that's my fight. So yeah, I don't think I'm fortunate. I just think I'm grateful, and I know what God gave to me, but this is not my opportunity to use my parents as leverage. And I think that's why I don't have lots of friends who come from rich backgrounds, because a lot of the entitlement is around that area, and I didn't grow up in that setup. Like I had parents who were divorced from when I was 6, bro. Like I grew up, dog. Like I grew up like a normal child. Like yes, better than most. Went to a private school my whole life, but it's not like I had things that most didn't have. It's not even like that. I wish I could explain to you guys my life growing up, but I hope that in some small way you see my mom's impact on my life, my mom's hand in my growing up, to remember these things that you have as into how and when that's how and I can sit here and do luxury unboxings that I bought with my own money. I can say I used to complain that my dad did it, and my dad was like, so I'm glad, man. I'm glad at what my family instilled in me. I'm glad. I have 5 other siblings, guys. 5 other siblings. But the takeaway is that my dad was such a good father and my mom was such a good mother. So it's a bittersweet moment, but I know that everything I do now is because my mom wants me to be the woman that I am today. I know she's fighting for me. But yeah, guys, that is it. Before y'all make me emotional, miss my mama. That is it, guys. That is the assumptions tag. I hope you guys really like this one. Comment down below, let me know what you thought. Aren't you guys surprised that I actually didn't drink that much in this video? That's because drinking makes me emotional, emotional makes me cry, and cry ruins the makeup, miss mamas. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this assumptions tag. Comment down below, let me know what you think. But that is the end of this video for Vlogtober. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys on my next video on Vlogtober. Bye.